Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times in the board game industry. So we're going to keep chronicling the weird, wild demise of the tabletop industry. Everything is kind of burning, right? I mean, it's crazy to watch, and it happens so quickly. We're going to talk about more destruction in the tabletop scene, I guess. We're also going to talk about Hasbro raising guidance for Wizards of the Coast. It seems like they're leaning heavily into digital products and cards, which are relatively easy to produce. And a lot of that stuff can be done stateside. We'll see if it pans out for them. But given the way that everything else is going, they might not have much competition. I'm going to be honest, like it is wild to see. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about CMON. They're halting development of future game projects. Apparently, I did not know this. I knew that they did millions and millions and millions of dollars on Kickstarter. But they have 17 or 18. Right? Double-digit numbers of Kickstarters that are outstanding. And I always feel bad if we're late on like one or two. They've got 17 or 18 multi-million-dollar projects that have yet to be fulfilled. Now they're just going to like stop developing future games. I'm like, well, yeah, you probably should get caught up a little bit there. So we're going to talk about that too. And this might explain in part this post on the High Noon blog about CMON. People having some doubts about them. Now, to be fair, the only one I've ever backed, the only one of their campaigns I ever backed was the Masters of the Universe one, and we got everything we paid for. I think we fell between the cracks and we had to reach out to them, but we did get everything. Actually, I've never played the game. I just wanted the plastic. I just wanted the little Castle Grayskull, and we got the She-Ra set and all that stuff, the minis. But so we got what we wanted. But it doesn't look too good for them either. So let's talk about all of this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you want more news, views, and rants, or you just want to keep track of updates, go out to our Substack. It's clownfishtv.substack.com. Some of you not getting notifications on YouTube. I do not expect that to get better anytime soon. So if you want to make sure you don't miss a video, go out there and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. We do have a paid version, but where we have a paid podcast over there like Clownfish Minus, but does not cost you anything to sign up for the newsletter. So this is ICV2. We're going to talk about I guess the good news. I mean, Hasbro, I think what they're doing, and we talked about this yesterday, that they're announcing the Star Wars deal, Marvel deal again, I think, to get the investors pumped. Because a week or two ago with the tariffs, they were really freaking out. They're like, what are we going to do? A lot of shareholders were like, yeah, Hasbro and Mattel don't have much of a future because all their toys come from China. And it's almost like Hasbro's like, but wait, guys, there's more. We're pivoting to digital, and we're going to do trading cards, and we can make those in the US. That sounds to me like that's what they're doing. ICV2, faced with tariffs, Hasbro raises guidance for WotC. So this is weird. They're actually raising their guidance. Again, I think this is about pumping that stock price. Despite tariffs at the highest level since the Great Depression, Hasbro raised guidance for the year for its Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segment. So this is about keeping their stock afloat, because if they were dependent on toys and the toys are all made in China, then we would have a problem. But they're like, hey guys, digital games and cards, we can do that stuff here. They said after having a blowout first quarter and strong orders for upcoming Magic the Gathering products. Magic the Gathering is basically Fortnite, the card game, right? Because it's like every licensed property ever. One reason for the optimism was WotC's low exposure to tariffs, with expectations for roughly $10 million in tariffs for the year, the company said in the earnings call. Magic the Gathering products are sourced from North Carolina and Texas in the U.S. and from Kyoto, Japan. The biggest contributor to the $10 million in tariffs for Wizards of the Coast will be from Dungeons & Dragons box sets, which are manufactured in China. That's interesting. So it sounds to me like they're like, yeah, D&D, nobody gives a crap. But hey, those WotC cards. Hasbro CEO Chris Cox said the company's strategy for Magic the Gathering will be to try to hold price points the same, especially on key products. In general, Hasbro feels its exposure to tariffs is lower than that of other companies, and it can pick up shelf space from competitors during this period. Isn't this interesting? It's almost like Hasbro's sort of delighted because that was a huge thorn in their side. I think a lot of these independent game companies that popped up over the last 5 or 10 years that use crowdfunding, they're eating into their shelf space. You go to Target, and Target has a lot of these indie games on their shelves. You go to bookstores, Barnes and Noble, same thing. And Hasbro's probably thinking to themselves like, oh yeah, now they're going to have to choose our stuff by default because their stuff's not going to get made anymore. Neener. Yeah, it's interesting. The second reason for optimism was strong sales for the division in Q1 with sales up 46%. Magic sales were up 45%. From 237 million in 2024 to 346 million this year. Is that units or is that because they jacked the prices? I don't know. Cox broke down the Magic growth in a conference call, listing strong backlist sales, the most important factor, but also noting the extra SKUs. Wizards of the Coast tabletop gaming, which includes Magic and D&D, was up 51%. So yeah, they're talking about the Magic products that are the crossovers, Avatar, Final Fantasy, Marvel. So like I said, I don't play Magic. I haven't touched Magic in at least 25, 30 years. I mean, like I played it a couple of times. I didn't really get into it. I will be honest. I didn't see what the big deal was. And now kind of sort of from the outside looking at it, I'm like, this is just Fortnite for middle-aged men. It is I mean, some of the cards are cool. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the cards are pretty cool. I actually was eyeing up that Final Fantasy set and I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this because I was kind of eyeing up those cards. I'm like, those are real nice cards. I might want to get now. Nope. Not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. WotC's seen substantial store growth recently, with store counts up 20% from 18 months ago. This jives with what we've been hearing about the movement in trading card shops concerned about the risk of disintermediation in the sports card business by fanatics to trading cards. Yeah, everybody's carrying trading cards now. I mean, is it a fad? I don't know. I mean, Magic and Pokemon have been strong sellers for decades. I mean, I don't think they're going anywhere, but is it enough to like bet the farm on? I don't know. I know some stores, some shops are getting out of it because they're pissed at WotC for reasons. I don't know. A lot of scalping going on though. It seems like the rest of the company was a drag on WotC's profits. Hasbro overall earned $98.6 million in the quarter, up from $48.2 in Q1. That's nice growth, but less than half of what the WotC segment threw off in operating costs. Yeah, so although Hasbro manufactures mass market board games in Rhode Island, it's got considerable exposure to tariffs for its toy business. I think they are going to wind up outsourcing a lot of the toys. And I have to wonder, they got the Star Wars and Marvel license again. I wondered this yesterday. They got the master license for it or whatever, or for certain products. It's very possible they could kind of just wait it out and be like, yeah, you know what? We have the license for Star Wars, but we're going to like sub-license it to, if they're allowed to do that. I don't know if they're allowed to do that, but they might be like, hey, we'll sub-license it to Playmates or something because we don't want to deal with it. Yeah, we don't want our stuff, more Star Wars crap with our name on it rotting on the shelves at Ollie's, or they'll just make a lot less of it, right? So ultimately, the tariffs are going to translate to higher consumer prices, potential job losses, and we're going to have to adjust to absorb increased costs and reduce profits for our shareholders, he said in the conference call. Our guidance is unchanged, supported by our robust games and licensing businesses and our strategic flexibility, but prolonged tariff conditions create structural costs and heightened market unpredictability. Basically, cards and digital we're good on. Everything else is up in the air. So let's talk about a company that is heavily dependent on Chinese manufacturing to make all of their component-heavy board games. And, I mean, it really... you want to talk about parts. Like, have you ever seen a CMON game? Like, there are a ton of parts. So they have halted development of future game projects. They paused new crowdfunding and they announced layoffs. 17 unfulfilled. I didn't know this. I didn't know this until somebody actually commented on it. I knew that they had multiple outstanding, because you are actually, I don't think people realize this, you are allowed on Kickstarter as long as you have a history of delivering. And I don't know what the I don't remember what the criteria is, but as long as you've delivered multiple campaigns in the past, they understand that people have like overlapping campaigns. They will let you do that to a certain degree. And I thought it was like, oh, you can have like 2 or 3 campaigns maybe open at one point in time. Hell no. Apparently you can have like 17 or 18 if you make them a lot of money. I think that's what it boils down to. They make them a lot of money. They're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, board game, tabletop game company on Kickstarter. So this is also coming from ICV2. CMON announced that they have halted development of future game projects and announced layoffs due to the unpredictability of the U.S. tariff situation. The uncertainty caused by U.S. tariffs claims yet another victim. They're talking about Greater Than Games and Boardlandia. Now, again, this is complicated because Boardlandia admitted, they came out and said they were already in a bad place, and this was just kind of the kill shot. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of companies that were already in a bad place just noping out. And this happened during the pandemic too. Some comic book publishers and some comic shops are just like, yeah, we're done. We're done here. We can't do this. We can't survive it. But it's so weird to see so many of them just, I mean, we're only like 2 weeks into the tariffs and they're all like, yeah, we're done. The sky's falling. It's all over. In order to adapt to the unpredictable global trade paradigm, CMON has placed developing new games on the back burner and won't engage in any new crowdfunding campaigns until trade conditions have stabilized. Alongside the stoppage in new game development, they have also implemented sweeping layoffs across their creative teams. The rationale behind the company's decision was explained as follows. Given global conditions, and most notably the situation with tariffs, CMON has decided to focus on our current commitments to our customers and partners and prioritize the timely delivery of existing projects. Right now, CMON has 10 projects either in development, in production, or in transit. Zombicide White Death is the only one of these games in the middle of fulfillment, a game which had made it to retail in Q1 2025, but not to project backers yet. That is never a good look. It said other projects currently in the crowdfunding pipeline have estimated delivery dates going all the way out to Q1 2026. That is actually one of the things that really irritates backers, I think more so than books being late or projects being late, is when it shows up in a store before it shows up in your mailbox, because you're the ones who made it possible for them to manufacture it. But that being said, like, CMON, their business model is basically use crowdfunding to, you know, and a lot of people are doing this now to run a production, but then that batch of games or books or whatever you're producing, they're going to go to stores too. And I think what's going to happen eventually, and this, you know, what should have happened during the pandemic, I think, especially with board games now, is there's not going to be any margins. So I think basically crowdfunding is going to be direct to consumer. And if you have any left, you know, selling direct to consumer through your website or through Amazon or something, I think that you have the prices increase substantially. I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense to even go with a distributor. We were kind of looking at one point in time at like, well, do we want to play around with, you know, doing Diamond or whatever? And then Diamond went belly up. I'm like, we have a building, we have a storage area, we have a shipping table, we have, you know, like we have all that stuff. We don't have to, I mean, we technically don't have to, you know, send our stuff to a distributor. It'd be nice to see it in stores or whatever, but I'm like, if it's too expensive to manufacture that we can't give it to a store for half price, you know, so they can mark it up, you know, it is what it is, right? I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I didn't realize that they're sending them to stores too. Yeah, I understand people being not real happy. This is coming from Board Game. This is right now. I can't verify this, but I know people said that somebody said they had 18 outstanding. I can't imagine Kickstarter would let them, but yeah, they're saying they have a bunch. So now they're just not going to do. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to push the button and nuke it all and you know, try to fulfill stuff. I don't know if they're going to, but it's just wild to see all these board game companies just completely nope out within weeks. I mean, they're just like, yeah, we're done. We're all done here. So there we go, guys. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.